We're just going to continue with the list of things that fall under the different activities that fall under direct and manage project execution. Looking at this first one, one of the single most important things that a project manager does, and it's one of the reasons why communications is such an important piece, being an effective communicator is such an important piece of being a good project manager, is because you have to actively communicate with the members of your project team in order to collect data on the status of the activities that they've been assigned. Because if you can't get accurate information about the status of things, then that makes it very difficult to properly assess whether or not things are moving according to plan. So certainly the capture of that data, making a proactive effort to get status reports from your team members, keeping those lines of communication open, creating an environment in which your team members are willing to talk to you about things, especially when maybe things aren't going as well as they would like, and helping them feel as though there won't be punitive issues with not being on time. Also creating an environment in which people do feel accountable for their actions, so that if they do miss a deadline, they know the project manager is going to come to them and ask why they missed that deadline. All of that falls under that first bullet point. The next bullet point goes back to talking about having a change management, some sort of process in place, putting those change requests in to whoever is making the decisions about those change requests. Maybe that's something that has to go through your project sponsor. Maybe that's something that has to go through a PMO. It just kind of depends on the organization, how it's set up, and what decisions were made early on about who was going to be the decision maker about change requests. Managing risk and implementing risk response activities. There's a whole section dedicated to risk management. We will be talking about this in much greater detail. Managing sellers and suppliers. That again goes to procurement management, having to deal with external stakeholders in terms of just all those different types of issues there. And the last piece, collecting and documenting the lessons learned and implementing approved process improvement activities. One of the reasons why it's really helpful to have a good project management process in place for your entire organization is because you get to the point where folks recognize that, if we document lessons learned and we try to keep this stuff in organizational memory, then the mistakes we make on this project are not necessarily doomed to be repeated on future projects. You can start to keep a repository of lessons learned, have post-project meetings that are kind of a brain dump of all the lessons learned, all sorts of different tactics to make sure that those lessons become a part of the organization's memory so that they can help things in the future. And all of these different aspects fall under direct and manage project execution.